Hello everyone. I want to take a few minutes to address the recent events that have taken place involving the killing of Mr. Floyd in Minneapolis and the resulting civil unrest. It's taken me a few days to put a message together because I was trying to find the words I wanted to say, and I've finally realized that there are no right words. I think any of us that watch those occurrences unfold and have seen those videos is sickened at just a basic human level. But as police professionals, when we look at that, we realize the complete, total failure of a system that we have sworn an oath to. Officers that displayed no care for the well-being of someone in their custody, who displayed no care for the humanity of Mr. Floyd, ultimately resulting in his death. That is a stain on our profession that we will never rid ourselves of, and it is a loss of a life for a family and a community that can never be undone. And it comes on the heels of many instances like this that have played out across the country over the decades. As policing, we know we're better than this, but we have to accept the fact that this happened. But as I look at that video, not as a police professional, but just as a fellow human being, I'm sickened to my core at the complete apathy displayed by those officers as they knelt on Mr. Floyd, taking his breath from him, ignoring his pleas for help, ignoring his calls for his mother, and did so for many minutes while he breathed his last breath. It hurts, and I know it hurts you, and we have to accept the fact that it happened, and it happened at the hands of men who swore similar oaths to those that we swore, but failed to their core at carrying out that oath and honoring the canons of our profession. This was a complete failure, and it cost Mr. Floyd his life, and it cost our profession a lot. I urge you in the days and weeks ahead to be mindful of this and to understand that we have a community that is hurting right now, a community that has a lot of questions, and give that extra ounce of care when you're out there, that extra ounce of deference, understanding where we are at right now as a society, coming to terms with what happened. We know this doesn't represent what we stand for, but it happened. So again, I implore you to exercise patience, and as we tell each graduating cadet class, as you're packing your gear bag for the evening shift, make sure you pack your empathy in there as well. We need to understand where our community is at and meet them there. We need to engage in open dialogue with them, working towards healing from what we would think was an unthinkable situation, but again, one that happened. And it happened against a backdrop of many of these that have happened before. We recognize that the tactics that were employed are not currently practiced by most police departments, and that was a failure. But to me, the greatest failure was the lack of humanity that those officers displayed, and there was no care for the sanctity of life. I know this has struck a chord with each and every one of you as well, and I share in our collective pain, and we now have work to do here in Austin to make sure that we build upon the trust that we have, and we do it in a way understanding what has happened and the emotions that this has brought forward. So I ask, if you are a person of faith, please pray for Mr. Floyd and his family, and all of us pray for our brothers and sisters in the Minneapolis Police Department right now who are struggling with some very difficult times brought upon by the acts of a few that reflect on so many. But at the end of the day, when you go out there, you practice the professional policing that you've been trained to do, and you continue to serve our community with dignity and respect. I appreciate what you do day in and day out. Thank you, and stay safe.